Hey everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. Sometimes I forget to make the screen big. I zoomed in for you. Look at this quality we've got going on. So I'm going to talk about piracy, even though the conclusion I'm going to come to is that you should not talk about piracy. I'll tell you what I mean. We'll get to it with Eric Larson and friends. Okay. First off, yesterday we had a fantastic day for crowdfunding. It was funny because my video did well. I talked about manga and I had a hot take, and everyone had an opinion on it. So even if you're someone that disagreed with me, thank you for commenting because that actually helps quite a bit. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, we it was crazy. Like mid campaign, and we raised the most money in one day since the second day of the campaign. So it was just awesome. No other reason other than great video. I think I've been utilizing Twitter as effectively as possible, and I did go on one stream last night too. So anyway, it was a really good day. So appreciate everybody. One or two backers will get to 27K, and we're on the march to 30K. And when everyone's book will get a beautiful foil stamp, should be cool. All right. So Eric Larson, there's a debate on piracy. Apparently, he says on the piracy debate, there is no debate. And I'm going to stop him right there because I actually agree with that. That I don't think that there's anybody saying, "Hey, piracy is a good thing. We should be pirating." Maybe there are. I have heard that argument before, but I wouldn't say that it's an ongoing debate. What I'd say it is that there are people that are pirating anything, and they will give you justifications for why they pirate if you ask them. If you don't ask them, they will just continue to pirate anyway. It doesn't really matter, okay? And then you have comic book creators who are desperately trying to tell people to stop pirating, and so they'll go on these big tirades, which is the wrong way to approach it. This does not help anything. So if we continue on, he says, it's criminal behavior. People are struggling to make a living, and you're taking what they're creating without giving them compensation. There is no justification. Well, not in your eyes, but people will come up with a justification. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to stop pirating because Eric Larson told them it was naughty. No one's going to do that. Clearly pirating is illegal, and clearly, like me personally, I'd rather have you buy my books. But I learned it the hard way when I put out my very first novel out into the world. I published it on Amazon, and it was trash. It was called The Cause. So many problems with it. It was immediately pirated. I saw it floating around on a Russian website for free. Why? I don't know. That's just how it is. It's one of the if you're going to put yourself out there, it's one of the other realities of life is that people are going to steal your stuff. So the more of the question is, what do you do about it? Which is not this. All right. So is there a way to lower the cost? So now it gets into, well, comics are too expensive. So that's the justification why people steal comics. They're too expensive. I don't think it's because they're I think expense is a factor for some people on how many comics you're going to buy. But they've already have like pretty good routes. Like you can wait for the trade, and that's actually a pretty good route to go. But this sort of underlines why comics is very lucky to have collectability as part of the landscape. You don't have that in other kinds of writing, like in novels. There's a little bit of it, like you want to get the hardcover version or whatever, that kind of stuff. But in comics, it's a whole other thing, and that makes it really good because you're going to have a set of early adopters that want the good collectible stuff. They want the limited run kind of things, and that's going to benefit everybody. So if you're someone out there that's purchasing comics, especially early, kudos. That's awesome. You're making the world a better place. I realize that sounded extremely cheesy, but it's kind of true. So yeah, the cost becomes a problem. Eric Larson says the cost, comics cost what they cost because they have to cost that much. If the price was lower, they couldn't afford to publish them at all. All right, so here's the people get hung up on this what they think is some kind of dilemma, and that is if you only lowered the prices of comics, nobody would pirate them. They would just buy the comics because they're so affordable. That there's a magic price point that is going to stop pirating from happening. I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. It's not going to happen. If your comics are $1, people are still going to pirate them. If they're 50 cents, people are still going to pirate them. It doesn't change anything. So rather than focusing on what you don't want people to do, this is like, I'm sleeping at night and my back door doesn't lock. I mean, not mine, but this is hypothetical. Your back door doesn't lock. Are you going to go announce it to everybody that your back door is wide open while you're sleeping and that you've got, lots of fine goods or whatever people could come steal? No, don't. Just stop talking about pirating. It is a fact of life. You are not going to change it. The boat is sinking. You're trying to use a teaspoon to bail out your boat. It's not going to work. You just have to let it go and move forward. You got to worry about the people that are actually out there on the market buying comic books and give them a reason to buy your comic book. But shaming the people that it just doesn't do anything. And that, again, it's not like that any of this makes pirating a positive thing. Though I have heard compelling arguments as to why it could be a good thing. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, just buy the books that you want. And this is why I like print so much, because print cannot really be pirated. I mean, at any large scale, people want print, they got to pay for print because it is a physical object. Anyway, so I don't know what that is. Thank you for listening to the video. Really appreciate it. I want to know your comments on pirating, and am I missing something important here? Let me know, and I will see you in the next video.